Hello, I'm David Workington, and for the last quarter of a century, we at KHA have been committed to creating the most powerful, innovative, and gorgeous homeopathic software on the planet. For the next few minutes, I'd like to show you what MacRepertory can do in your practice. MacRepertory opens with a window of all of the repertory and all of its sections showing. In this case, we want to find the rubric for embarrassment. So we click on the Mind section, and the repertory opens showing the main rubrics of that section. We can leap to the rubric Embarrassment by just typing EMB. Then if we want to see the subrubrics, we can. If we want to see the remedies, and to collect rubrics, we can just pick them up and put them into any one of these little storage places, rubrics clipboards. So we'll put a couple in. But more than that, we don't really know where else there might be related rubrics. The repertory uses many different words to mean the same thing, so we can show the cross-references. There are 330,000 cross-references in the complete repertory. That's about 10 times more than any other repertory. If you want to leap to a cross-reference, you just click on it. And now we can add mortification to our other two rubrics in the rubrics clipboard. Now these three rubrics are very similar in this case, and we'd like to combine them into one rubric. So all we do is select them and say combine and give the rubric a new name. And now we have our one rubric made up of the three different ones. But now suppose we didn't know where to find embarrassment. What we can do is we can just type the word in this window here at the bottom, and we're shown only those rubrics that have the word embarrassed in it. You could also search for the word embarrassed in all of the 38 repertories that MacRepertory supports and find it wherever it is hiding in any of them. It turns out that there's 177 rubrics in all of the different repertories that have the word embarrassed in them. Now we could combine all of those into one giant rubric if we wanted to find every possible remedy. Okay, so let's say we've collected 4 rubrics that we feel cover our case, and now we want to analyze it. You just click on the icon of the remedy graph, and it draws a graph where each of the squares, the purple, the dark, the black, and all, that's the grade of the remedy in that rubric. So you can see that calcarea is in bold italics in problems after delivery. The light blue is plain type, and the medium blue is italics. At the top of the graph, you can see the word rubrics. That tells you how many rubrics the remedy covered of your case. Then kingdoms, the color of that square is the color for the kingdom the remedy belongs in. So you can see calcarea is a mineral, silica is a mineral, bryony is a plant, phosphorus is a mineral, lycopodium green is a plant. And then under that, you can see there's Rajan's miasms, and each color matches a miasm. Now let's say that you're thinking of a kingdom in this case. We think this might be a Solanaceae. And we'd like to limit the graph to only the remedies that belong to that family. It's easy to do. In the kingdom square under belladonna, just press on the green square, and you can see all of the families that I put belladonna in, including Solanaceae. So I just choose Solanaceae, and it limits the graphs to all of the Solanaceae that have any symptoms in this case. Or perhaps we want to see the remedies that are in the acute miasm in the case. Limiting to one of the kingdoms is even easier. You just click on the pictures at the top of the window. Minerals, plants, animals. Sometimes I like seeing the different miasms side by side. Here you see the miasm, and then the bars show how well the remedies within the miasm did for this case. Or perhaps you want to see the kingdoms side by side. If you want to see the subgroups of the kingdoms, just click on the title. Now if I want to see each of the elements within the silica series, but actually, if you want to analyze by families, we have a much richer system for doing that. You click on the family graph icon, and some samples of family graphs, in this case, the graphs related to the minerals, show up. There's several hundred family graphs that cover minerals, plants, animals, miasms, fungi, bacteria, everything you can imagine, Bjorndal's miasms. If you click on one of the little pictures, you see that graph. Now, all the family graphs serve 4 purposes. One is that they give you a way of visualizing how the elements of the family relate to one another. The periodic table is a great example of that. 2, they give, by the color of the square, they tell you how well that family did in this case. So in our current case, you can see that carbon there in the center, because it's a dark blue, did the best of all of the elements. Third, we can learn more about carbon by clicking on it. Now we get the main features of carbon. In this case, this is Jayesh's work. And 4, by double-clicking on the carbon, we see our remedy graph again, and we actually see how each carbon did in this case. Now, as I said, there's many different sorts of representations of each kingdom. You can see here is includes the Solanaceae, and by the darker color, you can see that in this case, the Solanaceae did quite well. And again, the reptiles did well because the color is darker. This shows how well the miasms did in this case. And in the same way, by clicking on the center of these circles, you can limit the remedy graph to just the remedies that are psychotic or tubercular. Or if you don't remember the features of the miasms, just press the space bar for a refresher. There's even a graph that mixes the plant families with the miasms. So each flower is one of the plant families, and each petal of the flower shows how well the remedies in that miasm did for that family. Okay, now we have some ideas about remedies that we're thinking of prescribing, and we want to find out how to compare the specific remedies a little bit.